Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is, well, to sift through a whole stack of sources, everything from really urgent local news to complex international diplomacy. We want to pull out the key bits of knowledge for you. Think of it like a shortcut, helping you get genuinely informed, maybe find some surprising facts, and really get a deeper feel for what's going on. Today, it's Canada. We're looking at some deep human struggles, but also, the big global pressures. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, I think, is how many different threads we're pulling on. They seem separate, but each one has pretty crucial implications. We're going from really human stories to geopolitical shifts, big crime investigations, even like the recovery of a Canadian city. It all weaves together into this larger picture.
Exactly, those threads connecting everything. That's key. And our goal is to untangle them, maybe give you those aha moments, make the info stick. And quickly, let's get right into it. We're starting in British Columbia. A story that's just incredibly human and frankly heartbreaking. A 24-year-old man, Navdeep Singh Sidhu from Surrey, went missing Saturday night. He was camping with friends, 6 of them, getting firewood near Squamish Valley Road, and their Jeep, an older Grand Cherokee, it plunged into the Squamish River.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 3 friends got out okay, but Navdeep Sidhu and the car, they're still missing. Search and rescue have been out there, boats, drones, helicopters, but nothing so far.
And the conditions there must be really difficult.
Extremely. The Squamish RCMP, the Mounties, they said the river flow is, well, very strong, fast, and deep. So underwater recovery, just impossible right now. And Navdeep's story, it's poignant. He came from India on a work permit, lived in Surrey, worked in drywalling, got married just last year, and he was actively trying to book his family over to Canada.
That just adds another layer, doesn't it? The hope and the plans.
It really does. And his family, they're showing incredible determination. They've said if the authorities don't start an underwater search soon, they plan to hire a private dive team themselves.
And you see that determination often. It really highlights the emotional toll, but also the limits.
Yeah.
Right? The practical limits authorities face in conditions like that fast, deep water. It raises a tough question, really, about official capabilities versus, that unwavering family hope. They just want answers.
Absolutely. The persistence of hope, it's powerful. So that's the raw human element at home. But let's pivot now, because while these local tragedies happen, Canada is also making some pretty significant moves on the global stage. Prime Minister Mark Carney, he's heading to Brussels end of this month, expected to sign a new defense procurement agreement with the EU.
Ah, okay. This is interesting.
Yeah, there's a key meeting June 23rd, Canada-Europe Summit. He'll be meeting with Ursula von der Leyen, that's the European Commission president, and Antonio Costa, European Council president. And both of them, at the recent G7, they indicated Canada's defense role in Europe. It's set to increase. They're talking about a new security and defense partnership.
So more than just buying equipment, this sounds like a deeper strategic alignment.
Exactly. We're talking potential inclusion in the SAFE program, that's Security Action for Europe. It's a massive $150 billion loan program for joint defense projects. Von der Leyen basically said, look, this is for close, reliable partners, and talks for Canada joining. They'll start soon. And this could also pave the way for Canada to join Rearm Europe. That's a defense funding program projected up to, get this, $1.25 trillion over 5 years.
Wow. That's huge. So zooming out, what's driving this? Why now? This deeper EU relationship, it's strategically vital, especially with, all the global uncertainty, shifting alliances. Canada's been working on this for a while, actually.
Right. Is there a specific trigger?
Well, one key driver, arguably, is U.S. President Donald Trump's, let's say, perceived diminished trust in NATO. Remember his past comments, suggesting the U.S. might not always defend allies.
Right.
Or floating the idea of selling, toned-down fighter jets to Canada. It's not just about sales talk. It could be seen as pressure, right? So this EU deal becomes even more important for Canada's own security path, shaping its own interests.
That makes sense. Speaking of President Trump, during that G7 summit right here in Canada, he did say a Canada-U.S. trade deal is possible if both sides agree. Said this standing right next to PM Carney just before a meeting. Carney, for his part, acknowledged, global economic threats, said we need cooperation where we can find it, even if we don't agree on everything.
A very diplomatic response.
Indeed. And Trump also touched briefly on Israel and Iran tensions, suggested Iran should have made a nuclear deal and should talk immediately.
Right. It just shows how leaders juggle everything, doesn't it? National interests, global crises, trade talks. These high-level chats are complex. Lots of balancing acts, trying to find common ground even when priorities differ.
Okay, so from those diplomatic suites, let's look at the G7 summit environment itself. Security and protest. There were huge security operations in Kananaskis, Alberta, Canadian military, various agencies. Strict no-fly zones were set up, covered the summit area, parts of Calgary, Banff too.
Standard for these things, but always a major undertaking.
And sure enough, Sunday morning, 11:05 a.m., a private plane pops up inside the no-fly zone. NORAD's Canadian region scrambled CF-18 Hornets immediately. The RCMP has said they tried contacting the pilot multiple times. Eventually, the fighter jets helped guide it down for a safe forced landing after warnings.
Thankfully safe, but it highlights the risks.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder, right? Pilots have to check restrictions. Those zones were in effect until Tuesday night. There's an investigation ongoing into that specific incident.
Yeah, what's really fascinating there is the level of coordination needed instantly. Managing potential threats, even if they turn out to be unintentional, like this probably was. The protocols for airspace violations are incredibly strict. Shows the layers of security.
Definitely. And while all that was happening inside the security bubble, outside, protests, large-scale protests in Calgary and Banff tied to the G7. Various groups, including Indigenous communities, protesting Trump's policies, and also those past comments he made about Canada maybe becoming the 51st state.
Those comments definitely caused a stir.
They did. And apparently these protests were being shown on TV to the G7 leaders inside. Separately, over in Ottawa, there was another distinct protest, this one specifically against Indian Prime Minister Modi's participation. That's tied to the controversy we've heard about RCMP linking Modi government agents to violence in Canada, which raised questions about Carney's invitation in the first place. The World Sikh Organization even started a petition to withdraw it.
It really brings up that challenge, doesn't it? How leaders handle public dissent, especially on a global stage like the G7. Protest, freedom of expression, they are vital in a democracy. Even during these high-security events, these demonstrations clearly reflect a wide range of public views on global leaders and their policies.
Okay, let's shift focus now back to some major domestic stories impacting communities here in Canada, starting with a really significant crime bust. Peel Police. They announced they've uncovered what they call a violent criminal organization, the investigation name, Project Outsource.
Project Outsource. Okay,
Yeah.
What were they doing?
A lot. Extorting millions from South Asian business owners in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, using threats, drive-by shootings, arsons. Really serious stuff. And on top of that, defrauding insurance companies, staging dozens of fake car accidents, over $1 million just in fraudulent claims from that.
Wow, so a mix of violent crime and complex fraud.
Exactly. The investigation kicked off July 2024 so far. 18 arrests, 100 cases filed. And an interesting detail, police noted most arrested are of Indian origin. Then on June 10th, huge raids. 67 locations across Peel, Caledon, York Region, Toronto. The seizures were massive. Over $4 million in goods, 18 tow trucks, luxury cars, stolen cars, guns, ammo, bulletproof vests, cash. Police specifically linked some arrested individuals to certified roadside and humble roadside towing companies.
So using legitimate-looking businesses as a front, potentially.
Seems like it. A very sophisticated network. And the investigation's not over. CBSA, RCMP, other GTA police are involved. More arrests, more cases possible.
It just underscores the constant vigilance needed, right?
Yeah.
Protecting communities from these complex criminal groups. This kind of organized crime hits specific communities hard, and it takes that kind of major collaborative police effort across jurisdictions to even begin dismantling it.
Definitely a huge operation. Okay, moving to another big domestic challenge, but this one about recovery. An update on Jasper. You'll remember, Jasper relies heavily on tourism. It was hit by devastating wildfires about a year ago, July 2024.
Right, that was terrible. I remember the images.
Yeah, it was formed by 3 separate fires merging, driven